Peter Mcdaniel. What's
Yeah.
happening, brother?
Hi.
So stoked to have you here.
Thanks, Connor.
We're like we're in the midst of preparing for probably one of your biggest endeavors ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah?
It's a pretty intense life
What are
change.
you doing right now, like as we speak?
Uh, well, I quitting my job. Well, it's already quit, and I'm moving on to a boat with my family of got a
Job
wife
is
and two kids.
job is
Uh,
acquitted.
Job is acquitted. I was a corporate pilot, and now I'm a unemployed homeless guy living on a boat.
That's amazing. What
Yeah.
made you want to do this?
Um, I've always liked sailing, and I've always liked adventures. So I've just picked I just picked a goal that I wanted to aim at. I decided I just wanted to live on a boat, and so I started working towards that goal for it's 5 years now. It took me to
Okay.
get to this point.
Okay. So the immediate idea did not just come to you on a whim and then quit the job all at once, sold the stuff, and made it happen.
No, it was
It's
a
kind of like a long evolution of planning and ideas.
yeah. I'm really into goals. If I don't have one, I get antsy and weird and start
Yeah,
buying weird shit and wasting my time in my life. And so I'm really good at picking a thing, and I just work tirelessly at one thing. And so 5 years ago, I decided I'm going to make enough money and passive income that I can quit and I can get a boat and I can live on that boat for a couple of years.
sure.
And it was sort of a passing idea.
Yeah.
And my wife is just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
And wouldn't you think most would go down towards the road of if you have that passive income, keep building on it and get as rich as possible rather than kind of blowing it all off and
Yeah.
jumping on a sailboat?
Yeah, so I got a buddy named Sean who we went down that path together. And he was always wondering, like, what am I going to do when I have whatever the number is that we get to?
Yeah,
I'm like, well, if you don't have a goal, then why bother working at it?
right.
Just stop. Just do whatever you want. So for me, it made it a lot easier to push at one thing, and I could dig a lot deeper each day on what I was working on than if I
You had a light at the end of the
yeah, if
tunnel.
I just showed
You
up.
had something that was actually meant something to you
Yeah,
waiting at the
exactly.
end.
Like
And
showing up to work every day and just going to work till you die. Just like no matter how cool your job is. I flew a private jet. It was pretty cool. Traveled
sure.
the world on it. But after that wore off and I climbed that ladder to the top of it, I was like, all right, well, I'm at the top of this ladder.
Now what? Jump
Now,
off,
now what?
right?
Yeah. So I'm like, well,
Jump off the
I could
top.
jump off of it. Let's see
Yeah.
what happens on
That
the way
sounds a lot
down.
more cool than just to keep climbing tirelessly,
Yeah, yeah.
you
So
know,
I,
into the routine, to the cycle of work and life. And
yep.
wow.
So I set a date and I said that at this time I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to buy a boat and I'm going to get on it. And
And that time is now.
that date arrived.
And you have
It was
the coaster too,
yeah, the
right?
coaster too.
Which is parked in Lower Harbor of Marquette, Michigan,
Yeah, indeed.
down there, and it's ready to go.
Yeah,
We're getting there.
it's saleable. It's not currently a home yet.
Okay.
So it's the boat itself is good, but the interior where my family will
Okay.
live is still in work. So, but it's
Your new home
for
down below.
yeah. But no, whose home is ready when you move in? Yeah. Essentially, we're living out of boxes like
good way
everybody
to
else
put it.
who just moved.
Right. Right. And but what made it? You have no connection to Marquette whatsoever.
No.
No.
So during as the dream got closer, I realized it was time to start like really looking for a boat. And I like old things. I like things of beauty, and so I decided I wanted a schooner, which is a two-masted ship
Wood
that
boat.
was a wooden
It's
boat
wooden.
that helped build the nation. It used to be like the tractor trailer of the nation. So it's historically a man and his son would start a business on a schooner delivering stuff,
Goods.
just like a yeah. So I want a schooner. So I started searching the nation for schooners, and turns out there's not that many of them. So I had a list of all of them,
Whoa.
and so I just started as I flew for my job. I would look for
Check 'em out.
whatever's there, and so I started
Sure.
asking what was for sale, and they were either too expensive or just like a total pile of junk, or just usually not for sale.
Yeah.
So
You needed to find a happy
yeah.
medium. Nice
So
balance.
as I started narrowing it down, like okay, 100 feet's too much, 30 feet's too little. I I narrowed it into like a 40 to 70 foot range. Coaster to 62 feet, which is
Sizable.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time I met you last week, went sailing on that thing. It was my second time on the boat. First time I met you, you handed me a bucket and said, "Throw this in the water and retrieve buckets of water. We're mopping the poop deck."
Yeah.
And that's how I met you. So
You gotta scrub the decks.
it's legit.
It
That
actually has
boat is legit.
it actually has a purpose.
Yeah.
The decks are teak, and it's not just a veneer of teak. It's like it's an inch and a half of teak, and underneath that is you know, the inside of the boat. And so
Right. You want that water
you
tight.
got to get it soaks the water in and expands the teak, and then so your decks don't leak inside when it rains
Yeah.
or waves hit you,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Have you ever lived on a vehicle before?
Um.
Or a transportation vessel?
Well,
I guess?
we were talking about this earlier. I had that job flying
Yeah.
cargo around this old 1950s airplane. It was a pretty sketchy job, so I've slept in that plane quite a bit.
Okay. While I was landed.
Yeah, yeah, overnight. Like you know, it's too late or it's too early in the morning, so you pull your sleeping
Yeah.
bag out, you roll out in the cargo bay, and you just sleep in the plane.
Yeah. But this is like, I don't,
Yeah, I've never lived in a vehicle. I've never like lived in an RV.
right. So this is constantly like moving. I mean, do you sit, what happens at night? Do you leave the sails up? You put the sails down? You put an anchor down? Or?
So right now in Marquette, we're tied up to the wall. Is what it's called.
Yeah.
So essentially, we're against the wall at the edge of the water. So we're moored to that. We got anchors pulling us away from the wall, so it's a good, safe, stable spot. But when you're out moving, we'll just drop anchor. You anchor yourself in, and that's where you'll stay. So the boat kind of
Wow.
moves with the waves, moves with the water. So you got to think about
Yeah.
which
But
way
you
the
got,
wind's coming from, which way the
yeah.
waves are coming from, and you get yourself
I suppose, well, we should kind of cover like what you're doing because I know you're going from here to where, and I kind of like to figure out how.
Okay, so the path is through all the Great Lakes except Lake Michigan, which is out of the way.
Sure, that's west from here.
Yeah, so we'll head out past Niagara, up into Canada, and then up the St. Lawrence Seaway.
By New York, so you're like upstate New York.
Yeah, through backside of New York,
Okay.
and then over the top of all the states, and over the top of Maine.
Over the, you're going over the top of Maine
Yeah,
through a river?
yeah. There's a St. Lawrence Seaway. It's a seaway that follows along the top of New York.
That's Canada.
Yeah, in between, it's the border in between Canada and New York, and then all those upper states, New Hampshire. I can't remember which the other one.
But there's
Maine.
probably a ton of ports, probably a ton of harbors to go check out. Bunch
Yeah, yeah.
of
So it's a
stuff.
beautiful, beautiful area of the country, ours well, of the continent, I guess.
Yeah.
There's tons of places to anchor for the night, and then we'll go into Nova Scotia, which is just a untouched wilderness of icy coldness.
That'll be a little bit more aggressive, hey?
We'll be there in the summer, so it'll be a little cool.
So
But
through the winter, you're going.
yeah, so as we go over the top of Nova Scotia, then we'll come down southbound down the eastern seaboard, hitting all the eastern states.
Yeah.
And at some point, we'll jump off the continent and head out into the Caribbean. We'll tour around the Caribbean for a little while. And that is the point where we hit a question mark in the trip of, are we still having fun?
Is this ship falling apart?
Yeah, is the ship falling apart?
Probably
Are the
not.
kids going crazy? Does my wife hate sailing?
Right. So this is an interesting part of all the. Is this your dream? Is this you want to see all this, like all the, or with the family you want to do all this?
It's a combination of two dreams. So my wife grew up traveling in RVs. Her
Okay.
parents own an RV and have always owned
Yeah.
RVs. So she's been all over the Western United States in RVs for weeks on end as she's growing up. And so she really likes the idea of taking our kids out and doing the same thing with them.
How old are they?
2 and 5.
Nice. Nice.
so she doesn't really care about the boat all that much, but she really enjoys the idea of the constant travel and seeing the world.
Not just taking vacations.
Yeah, not just vacations, like heading.
We're traveling.
Yeah, we're traveling.
It's
We're going out
different.
and doing stuff.
Yeah.
She never did that as a kid. She didn't live in an RV, but she spent a lot of time on family vacations. But that being said, we don't actually know if everyone's going to enjoy it or not. So once we get to the Caribbean, that'll be our decision point where we'll either turn around and come back and do something else, or we'll press on through the Panama Canal over to the West Coast, see a bit of Central America and Mexico. And from out there, you can go to the Galapagos. From the Galapagos, you can get the South Pacific.
And just right over to the Horn of Africa from there.
And you just roll. You can,
Pretty much.
we'll just keep going until it stops being fun, or we run out of money,
Yeah.
or I need a new goal.
Right. But this has been the goal for a long time.
Yeah,
Interesting.
which is
How do the kids do on the boat? Have they?
the kids settle into things really fast. So
It's pretty adaptable.
the first night, they're like, "Why is it so squeezed in here, Daddy?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is just the new way of doing things." And the
Yeah.
second night, they're just like, "I'll be in my bunk."
Yeah.
So they're up in what's called the forepeak.
Right.
So they have they have their own little bunk beds and their own little curtains that close, and
Sure.
we have some little peepholes they can slide open to go look into the rest of the boat if they don't want to come out. And so they're really into it. They adapted within 3 days.
It's like a fort.
Yeah, they're just like,
It's like in a fort.
Yeah.
I used to love building forts. I was like 10 years old.
Yeah,
Build a
s-
fort.
same idea.
I'm just going to live in it, Mom.
Yep,
This is my house now.
same idea.
That's
Exactly.
Something, that's something else, man. I mean, you got pretty much everything you need. You got a kitchen?
Yeah.
How you cook food, store food?
Sure. So, describing the interior of the boat, which is the part that no one ever sees.
Right. This is your house.
Yeah, we start from the very front of the boat. So, way up at the peak of the boat, the part that cuts the water, the first 2 feet is just filled with chain, which is for the anchors.
Right.
There's a big wall called a bulkhead, and the next behind that is the kids' bunks,
Sure.
another bulkhead, and there's the mid cabin, which is there's a table that converts into a double bunk
Okay.
if we have guests. On the opposite side, there's another bunk for whoever's coming along. We're taking
Yeah.
a guy from Marquette with us. We got a teenager who wants to come down the road.
Right.
Then behind that is the head, which is the bathroom, and some storage. Then the aft cabin where my wife and I live, there's 2 bunks that convert into couches. There's a big table in the middle that can fold up or fold down.
Oh, right. That's as soon as you come down
Yep.
into it.
Yep, there's a kitchen on one side called the galley, and the other side is my shop, which is essentially just a couple drawers and a table.
Sure.
But it's all packed with tools and
Your workshop.
yes, things for maintaining the boat.
Sure.
Yeah, and then there's one more table in between the shop and the galley, which actually hides the engine.
Okay. So you sold a lot of shit then, or you stored it?
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
no,
gone.
gone. It's all gone.
Gone.
The
just
only-
like
yeah.
just like tables and couches
Yeah,
and
it's just stuff, man.
TVs and microwaves
It's
and
just stuff.
doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, so we stored a couple things.
Was
I
that
have-
hard? Was that hard to start just peeling away at that shit, or you were stoked? You're just like,
yeah,
oh, it's
we
time.
were stoked. It was
Yeah.
just like that's got to go. That's got to go. All this furniture's got to go.
I don't know if enough people have that opportunity. Is just to take a load off.
It's incredibly liberating.
I'm sure you feel lighter just dumping
Yeah.
all that
you-
shit. You know.
You derive comfort and safety through your stuff, but in the end, it just begins to weigh you down, and you're just stuck in one.
Right.
Imagine moving from one apartment to the next, right?
It
The
ends
more
up
s-
possessing you.
Yeah. Now you have to get a certain size apartment to fit that couch you really like or the table you really like.
How limited you become.
Yeah, yeah. So you just get rid of all of that, and it's just everything we own now
Has a purpose.
Yeah, has a purpose, and we don't have any spares of anything. It's just one of each thing. Even to our clothes. Right now, I'm wearing brown three-piece suit, which is thick wool, and
So
it's my only
please,
suit. I just wear
yeah,
the same thing every.
describe the logic behind you what you wear, dude. Because honestly, I had a client come in here the other day because I met you through Brian, and she was like, "Yeah, I saw Brian down on the sailboat. He's hanging out with some weird people."
I am.
It's like they had suspenders on with no shirt and a top hat. And I was just like, that's who's coming on the podcast.
that's a little unfair. I happen to be changing at that exact moment. I do have one extra outfit for painting, so I don't mess my clothes up. But yeah, so I wear I wore this like brown suit. I had it made.
Oh, nice.
It fits the boat represents a time period between 1850 and 1900. So I got a bunch of photos of guys in their workwear during that time, and I
Yeah.
compiled that all together until I figured out like the exact style of that time period. And so I had a suit made that fits that same time period. So it's a brown three-piece suit. But once you're wearing it, it's super useful and comfortable. I have like there's like 20 pockets
I was
floating
gonna
around all over
say,
the place,
what
and
do you mean? What do you mean useful?
yeah, there's pockets all over the place. It's you take the jacket off, you still have the vest, so it's kind of warm. Take the vest off, you still have your shirt on, so it's there's three different levels of warmth with it.
How long does it taking you to get used to wearing all those clothes? Do you get warm?
No, that's really comfortable.
Pretty comfortable.
Yeah,
Like wearing a blanket all the time.
yeah. Well, even when it's warm out, it's wool, so the wool breathes.
Wool is magic.
Yeah, it really is amazing stuff. If it gets wet, it doesn't get cold.
That's
When wool gets wet, it gets warmer, which is a strange attribute it has.
really strange,
Yeah.
but really useful.
So I just wear the same outfit every day.
Yeah. Plus,
Working, not
you're a
working.
pilot, so you're kind
Yeah.
of used to doing the uniform thing
Yeah, when I flew, I wore a uniform or a suit constantly. So
constantly.
this isn't my first everyday suit. The last suit I had, I wore the same suit every day for like 5 years. 4 years. I had that suit for
Is
4
there
years.
something about that takes something away from you?
No, I think so. If you're forced to wear a suit, like usually when you think of a suit, you think of a lawyer stuck in his
Yeah,
office, like
has
his
to
life is
be.
miserable.
Yeah.
No one's telling me to wear this. This is just what I choose to
That's
wear.
the difference now. But
Yeah.
when you were a pilot or even in the military, did you feel like they took something away from you in a way by doing that?
Yeah, I did initially when I was in the military. I felt like, you're constraining me. I don't want to do this. And
Yeah.
I had a buddy in the Marine Corps who I was kind of fighting the system at the time. And he's like, hey, man, just get your hair cut, polish your shoes, show up on time, and you can get away with murder.
Oh my God, he said that?
Yeah, just look the part and do whatever you want.
Jeez.
And so I took that and I've been wearing a suit ever since. You'd be amazed what you can do wearing a suit.
You're
You can
not
walk,
kidding.
You can walk in anywhere. Like doormen don't check you.
Right.
You just say hi and walk by them.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You obviously know what you're doing. You're
Yeah.
wearing you look the part.
Yeah. So I spend a lot of time in airports. You think TSA is like rigid, hard, like I'll follow the rules. They treat you differently.
Yeah.
If you look like you're a serious person doing serious things, they just assume that you're supposed to be somewhere or supposed to do something or have some privilege that you don't
Probably
actually
shouldn't
have.
get in their way. Huh?
Yeah. So
So dress for success is what
yeah,
you're
just
saying.
discuss.
Dang.
It's not a
Need to get a sport coat. All I got right now is over.
Yeah.
Button down shirt with a tie.
There you go. Just try the suit thing out. So if you're forced to wear it for work, it sucks. I'll admit
Yeah.
that. But if you're not, it's a comfortable
That's
comfortable
interesting.
garment that men have been wearing for hundreds of years. And
Yeah. There is a reason. There's a rhyme and reason to that. That
Yeah.
that tie is dangerous though. Ties freak me out, man. You get in a fight with a tie on, you're
I know, they'll
screwed.
strangle you with
They'll
their own
get
tie.
you so
Well,
quick.
All right, well, they gotta have both their hands, and your hands are free. Then maybe I guess
Maybe,
you can beat them up.
but maybe they'll just grab one
Yeah,
tie full of and just,
yeah.
just the ground. Yeah, it's there for it.
I haven't fought anybody in a suit. Maybe that's just something I should put on my list. Do some sparring in a ring with a suit on.
Do you have a list?
See how it
Do you have a
goes.
list for this trip? Do you have like an agenda or itinerary that has like specific ideas that you want to accomplish?
No, I want to go out and find empty places and
Yeah.
camp out on the beach and make a fire and maybe go hunting and like bring them back, or go fishing and bring it back and cook that stuff on the beach, and
Yeah.
just sort of like live at one with my now, instead
Right.
of worrying constantly about
The future.
when my job's going to call me, or when I have to be back at work, or what the kids are. The kids got to be at soccer practice at 2. We better hurry up. So
Yeah. That's daunting.
yeah, and it's been I've only been uh, not working out for 2 weeks, and that's been a challenge for me, is relaxing. I'm really used to
Push.
push, 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 push. Um, so this past 2 weeks have been a little bit weird for me, learning to just, meh,
Have they been reminiscent as well? Do you reminisce a lot or no?
no,
Not at
no.
all.
It's all still too new, and
Yeah.
I have too much to do to prep for the journey. So it's no reminiscing yet.
Right. So in the Navy, it seemed I remember them talking about sleeping in hammocks.
Yeah,
Have you thought about that?
yeah, I did. I brought one.
Did you?
Yeah,
Is that healthy?
I had one at home, and I tried it out for a while.
Yeah.
Side note, strange thing about hammocks, you can't just put a blanket on top of you. You also
Has to
have to
be
put a blanket
below.
underneath you as well.
Yeah.
So my
Preferably a thermarest.
yeah, so
Something that cuts wind.
so I slept out in a hammock for a couple nights out in California. It gets cold at night. It's a desert, right?
Yeah.
So it's my butt and back were like frigid. So I
It's
had to
awful.
go find something to put underneath me.
It's not even tolerable. You know what I mean? Like you can't sleep like that.
But so once you're warm, it's pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
But it's
I wonder about the long-term health effects of sleeping in hammocks.
I don't know.
If you're gonna do it chronically for like 5 years, what would happen to your spine?
I don't know. It's a good thought.
You know?
It works it worked for a couple nights for me.
Oh, for sure.
But I don't know if I mean, the Navy didn't have hammocks because they were so good for the sailors. They just had them because you need to fit,
More
you
people
know,
on a boat that was
a
waving,
yeah, 1,000 guys in a boat.
and the waves were going crazy in the middle of the ocean.
They had the standard was 18 inches from hammock to hammock. So most guys are wider than 18 inches or that wide. So yeah, you imagine a boat swaying. You're knocking up against the guys next to you.
Like little like
They,
cells.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like they're little like they're recharging for the night. They're little like cogs in the.
you
It's
ever
crazy.
seen the movie Master and Commander?
You know? No, I haven't. I
Yeah,
heard good things.
it's about the age of sail. They're
Who was
sailing.
it? Jack Nicholson or Tom Cruise or?
It's I forgot the actor's name, but anyway, there's a scene in the beginning. They're like walking through the boat with the camera in it, and it's at nighttime, and it shows the room full of hammocks, and it just looks like 100 sacks of flour just sort of swaying there.
Right.
It's all guys
Like
in there.
like resources or something. You know, like
Well,
just
that's what it
like a
was.
big like charging cell
Yeah,
in a battery, but it's
exactly.
people.
Yeah. No. You know what? There are a couple ships sailing around now that the crew still sleeps in hammocks.
Yeah.
Old 1800 style
The net,
ships.
right?
Yeah.
I did it for a period of time. I did it for 2 months straight up here. Just sort of around in the wilderness, right? Different state parks, different state land and county parks and whatever. I didn't feel any different. I felt better. I
Yeah.
woke up well, the difference is you don't wake up in the middle of the night. I noticed that was a very rare thing when
Yeah.
you're in a hammock. 'Cause
Yeah, when you sleep in a bed, you're sleeping on your side and you wake up and your shoulder hurts. So
exactly.
you flip over to
You
the
have to
other
flip,
shoulder.
right?
And so that's, a couple hours later that, you sort of wake up and flip back to the other shoulder.
Yeah, yeah. But sort of waking up is like just like waking up because of the
Sure.
REM sleep.
I like to think that I was at the edge of waking up anyway, coming through a REM cycle when I wake up, but who knows?
Sure, it makes us feel better, doesn't it?
Yeah. Maybe I'll try out the hammock thing. I got a boat, so
How are you gonna sleep on the boat? You got enough
Yeah,
space, like a bed?
yeah, we got the in the aft cabin. Those two couches convert into bunks.
You also have a first mate named Brian.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's an interesting like connection that you guys made and are gonna pursue.
He's been crewing the boat with the previous owner
Yeah.
for a few years, so
Yeah.
he is very in tune with the boat, and it's not a simple boat to sail. It's not modern at all. There's no winches or conveniences. Everything's just manpower.
Which is bittersweet.
But he doesn't know how to sail. So I don't know anything about this boat, but I do know how to sail. So
Cool.
between the two of us, we seem to make one competent person.
One competent sailor of the
So,
two of you. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So I'll say we need to be close hauled on the starboard tack. Let's get these three sails going, et cetera, et cetera. And he's like, well, that's not going to work for XYZ reason. I'm like, why not? He goes, well, he'll explain the problem. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And so we'll, readjust the lines, readjust the sails, and all of a sudden it works. On the opposite end, though, he doesn't know how to do a lot of the
Navigation?
navigation or more technical points of sail or sail choices depending on wind. So we're both learning pretty quickly, and I think it's a good team.
Yeah, he'll be good to work with, you know. And he has the opportunity to do this, in which I don't think he minds in the slightest.
Oh no, he's stoked about it.
I think it's kind of a tough bill to fit, somebody who's willing to come out and live with you and your family on a boat for how long? Who
Well,
knows
he's
how
not
long?
he's not
Like,
staying that long. He's just staying through Mackinac Island. So
oh,
once we leave, he'll
what?
only be on for a week or two.
Really?
Yeah, probably 2 weeks. We're gonna go slow, and then he'll trade out for a girl named
Trinity,
Trinity.
which is pretty ironic.
Yeah. So her parents threw her out her last semester of
Yeah.
high school
She's
for smoking weed and being
she's
disrespectful.
yeah, she's a troubled
Yeah,
youth.
but she's getting A's and B's.
Right.
So she was nannying for us at the time, and so she told us about it and talked to my wife, and we gave her a little bit of help and told her, if you finish high school, we'll get you from there. You can come live with us on this boat, and just take a 6 months or a year to sort of like figure out where you're going, what you're doing.
Right.
So it gave her a
Right.
little bit of motivation. She finished up high school. She just graduated, a month ago.
See, that's pretty cool
Yeah.
for a high school teen, like somebody coming out of high school, just to jump on a boat and be free
Yeah.
from society and all the pressures that, well, what are you doing after high school?
What college you going
What
to?
college? Yeah, what's your plan? What's next for you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get on a boat and sail across the East Coast.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll let you know after that.
right. Cool. You
Right.
know, what a cool opportunity, you know? And I'm trying to put it in perspective from a 5-year-old's point of view, how this must look or feel,
Yeah.
Because I remember going into kindergarten and I was just like, wow, this is different. I don't have a babysitter. There's all these people around me now. I'm surrounded and it's very strange. And I was kind of a mean little asshole kid. So it was like very different when I got around others,
Well,
especially.
For her, it's everything's so different right now that she's just sort of absorbing whatever rules we set for her, and she's like, okay, I guess
Yeah.
that's the way we do things. And what makes it easy for her is all of a sudden, mom and dad don't disappear anymore. We're just there all the time.
Right.
So it's been
Don't just disappear because that's what happens in
Yeah.
little kids' worlds is just all of a sudden.
Yeah, my wife was a
Where's mom?
labor and delivery nurse, and so she'd go to work for 12-hour shifts with an hour commute on the overnight shift. So essentially, she'd disappear for 3
It's like,
days.
where's mom?
Yeah, and then I flew a plane, so just like one day I'm there, and the next day I'm gone for like
She
weeks
didn't-
on end.
You had a nanny,
Yeah,
and they just had to be cool with that.
yeah,
That's how I was, both my parents worked.
yep,
Then Tuesday and Thursday, my mom took the day off, and there she was again.
yeah. It's
We
just
woke
like,
up and she was there.
yeah, magic. So instead, we're just there all the time. So it's in the couple of weeks so far, it's been giving her consistency, and we can see her kind of calming down, just like we are.
Yeah.
Where to her, there's more structure To us, it seems like no structure, but to her, like we're there. The rules are always the same. Dad always has the same reaction to everything. It's not like grandma's all of a sudden there or the nanny's there. If dad always says you do this thing,
That's fascinating.
well, he just said the same thing yesterday and the same thing tomorrow.
That's probably shifted your perspective in a way too, to become a little bit more childlike about this whole thing.
Yeah, it is. And just working with her and her needs as a human that happens to be
Yeah.
5 years old. If you're not rushed and don't have to be somewhere at a certain time, she actually has a lot to say. If you just It just takes her longer to say it, right? Because she can't form a sentence as quickly.
Yeah.
So she wants some specific thing, or she wants to see something, or has something to say about what her meal is like. If you give her 5 minutes to talk, she'll get out what she meant to say, what you usually just told her to, like, just stop it, just eat your damn meal,
Right.
right? If you
Because a lot
wait,
of that stuff gets shut down. It's we don't
yeah,
have time to prod at this child for
yeah,
what their
exactly.
opinion is,
Yeah,
what their
exactly.
thoughts are.
But if you do have time, it's easy. So this was day before yesterday. She wasn't eating her lunch and she wasn't hungry. She wasn't hungry. She wants to. And so I finally, I'm like, why aren't you hungry, sweetheart? Well, I really want to go to the playground. I'm like, oh, okay. What if we just put your lunch in a box and went to the playground? Would that work for you? She's like, yeah, I can do that. And so I finished eating what I was eating and threw her lunch in a paper bag and we went to the playground and she played for half an hour and then realized she was hungry, came back, sat down, ate her entire lunch. No one had to
Enjoyed it.
fight about lunch. So we both got what we wanted to. It just took a little bit more time that normally you're not willing to give a child because everything's so scheduled.
Yeah. Very rigid.
Yeah. And the 2-year-old's just stoked because mom's there all the time.
Yeah. And oh, mom's there all the time. Adults are that same way though too. You know, when you have a conversation with somebody, let's say you stop with somebody in the store if you're shopping, right? Chances are you got places to be, you got things to
Mm.
do, and that person really wants to like see how you're doing. Like, oh, what's going on? How are you? And they want to talk about that. How often you find yourself like almost having to blow them off,
Yeah, all the
or
time.
or that just doesn't happen because of the fact that you got better shit going on. You got other places to be, right? And that could have been some life changing realization based on that conversation that you just passed out.
Sure. And people get their thoughts out in different ways. And so if you're in a rush, you just assume that your way is their way, and so when they don't say things at the speed or sentence structure, idea
Sure.
structure that you're used to, you just assume like, hey, I don't have time to deal with you. You're just weird, different. So now I've met all kinds of people. I've met you and a bunch of other people, and I just sort of have more time to wait and see what they say.
Yeah.
Um, I picked up a hitchhiker on my way over here, actually.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
You're not afraid. You're a big dude. You can protect
I'm a
yourself.
pretty big guy.
Yeah.
He looked reasonably
Harmless.
normal.
Pretty harmless.
Yeah, he didn't have like
You can tell.
he didn't have like a sword sticking out of his back or anything like that. So I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. You got to look for the sword. That's the main thing.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for guys
That
with
gives them
swords.
away right away is the
Yep.
sword.
Yep.
Uh,
I don't know. I don't know why
I
I
pick
picked that
'em
as an
up.
example, but
I
you get
pick
the
'em up
idea, right?
too. I pick them up too. I do, and I'm not a bigger guy, but I'm not afraid to pick them up. And I've also hitchhiked a few times.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I've had to be somewhere where maybe I got lost in the woods, and I pop out on a road somewhere, and I need to get back to my car, and there's cars passing by me. It's worth a shot, and somebody picks me up. College, I hitchhike to class across campus at times if I was late. The main thing is a smile.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
what I found. If you have a thumb up and you're looking at the person with a smile, they're not going to be like, "Oh, what a freak,"
Yeah.
you know?
I don't know why I picked him. He just looked.
Was he looking at you?
Yeah, he was looking at me.
That
We
makes
ma-
a
We
difference.
made eye contact.
You
And I was
know,
just
if you're
like,
walking with the back, if you walk with your back to the cars with your thumb up, there's
oh
no
yeah.
face, there's no human.
Sure, he's just a scary thing that you
Just
might a
just a
risk. He's a risk.
figure, right? Just a risk, just a
Yeah,
figure, not another human,
sure.
right? Just like you, right? Teeth and a mouth and a face and
Yeah,
all that,
an emotion. Hopefully, a nice one.
right? Why not a smile?
Yeah, yeah. So I
Right?
picked him up, gave him a ride out here, and it felt good. It was
It's
a.
funny. You know, when they get in the car, you always want to like, well, what's going on today?
That's exactly what I
You
did. I'm
know,
like,
how are you today?
"What's up?
What's
Where are you
going on?
heading? What's
Uh-huh.
why are you going there?"
Uh-huh.
And he just explained his mantra. It's the same thing. He's like, "People are really nice up here. It's just this is just how I get around. It's a lot faster than taking the bus."
Yeah. Yeah. People are really nice up here in the UP, don't you know?
He had a tip for hitchhikers. This is how I got him too. He was at a stoplight, just past the stoplight. So I stopped at the
Oh,
stoplight, which gave me a couple of seconds
yeah.
to
To react
to
and say,
assess him, think about it, make my choice, and then
pull
decide
over.
like, yeah, I'm gonna pull over.
He was stationary?
Oh yeah, he was just about
S-
20 yards past the stoplight.
See, I've never done stationary hitchhiking before. I've never even seen it really. Most people are walking, and if they are walking, they're trying to go somewhere with or without a ride.
Uh, well, he's coming from Marquette to
Yeah.
what town are we in?
Nagani.
Nagani. That's a heck of a walk.
Yeah, 14 miles,
Yeah.
something like that.
So maybe the stoplight method
There's a method to the madness.
yields better result than the constant forward progress.
Sure. Yeah. He's probably had a lot more experience than I have. Odds are,
Eh,
maybe.
he said he's hitchhiked to Florida a couple times, out to California.
More experience than
Yeah,
I.
he's a pro hitchhiker.
Pro hitchhiker. That's pretty sweet, man. That's really sweet. Um,
I'm hoping to pick up. Well, I've already done it, but pick up people for the boat. We got extra beds. I thought it'd be,
really? Like an
yes.
Airbnb kind of deal?
No,
Or-
just like guys like Brian, right? He's
Brian's,
got
yeah.
he's free spirit.
There
He's
you go.
nothing going on. I got a cool thing. I'm like, hey, you want to be part of this for a little while?
Yeah.
He's like, sure.
Yeah.
So I'm
I'm
hoping I meet
surprised that
people
he's
like
only going to Mackinac with you.
that. He and I are both a little bit hesitant about the whole family dynamic in a boat with more
Yeah.
people. So we
Yeah.
we just kind of set that as a limit,
Yeah.
so that like he and I could both at that moment say, you know what, this is I'm done. I'm getting off as planned. Or if we're both like, this is amazing, like let's just keep rolling. We just use that
Very nice.
as a point.
It's a little scapegoat.
Like you wouldn't pick up a hitchhiker here and say, hey, I'm heading to California. And he's like, so am I.
Right.
Like, okay, we're now BFFs for the next 7 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might give him a ride to the next big city, and if it turned out not to be
Yeah. The best of
the
characters.
the best of times together,
Yeah.
your personalities don't jive. Or
There's
whatever.
always awkward traveling moments when you disagree with somebody. When you're on your way somewhere, and it's like, oh, I can tell we're at odds there. Let's talk about something else.
Exactly.
But stuck in the same space.
Yeah,
Brian's a kind soul, though.
yeah, he is.
You know.
Yeah, he's a very giving soul too. He's been helping out tremendously getting the boat ready. There's like, 90-year-old or 85, I can't remember exactly, but whatever. It's an old boat. Takes a lot to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been extremely helpful in painting and sanding and replacing parts and
Yeah.
retarring the rigging and re-oiling the decks and
Yeah. Was there a point before you started thinking I want to do this boat endeavor where you were just grinding and just like we were talking about like stuck in the routine and like looking for something more?
yeah. So I've been doing that my whole life.
Yeah, like without a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, no, this is the light at the end of the tunnel, but was there a point where you didn't have that light? And if so, like what were you doing?
So I almost have always had a light at the end of a tunnel. It's just how I live. So during the recession,
2008?
2008, I did not have a light at the end of the tunnel. Things weren't going well. I didn't have a goal. I didn't have anything I was doing.
How old were
And
you? Were you young?
how long ago was that? It was 10 years ago. So I was 20, 28, 29.
I was 12. 2008.
Life's different when you're 29 or 12.
Yeah. Santa's not coming anymore. What the fuck? Where's Santa?
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
couldn't get work flying, and so I moved back to Illinois to help my dad run his business. because he was hurting too because of the recession. And he's like, "Well, welcome home, son. Just settle on in. This is just what we do." And after like a year of doing that, it's like, what is going on? I'm so upset. It's like this can't be everything. And so, I found a new goal. I found a new thing. I started pushing again. That got me back into flying. I decided I wanted to fly private jets. So I spent years getting to that
Yeah.
point. And once you're in something, you sort of meld the goal a little bit. So now I want to fly. I want to be the captain of an international business jet. So I worked on that and I got there eventually. And then once I arrived there,
Then you
then
needed
I'm just like,
something
well, am
extraordinary.
I just gonna fly a jet the rest of my life?
Is this all that I'm made for?
Yeah,
Is this my destiny? Kind
I
of
see these guys I'm flying with, like in their late 60s. I'm like, what have you been doing your whole life? Flying this jet.
just hanging out with hookers
I'm
and
like,
going
what are you gonna do when
town
you're
to
done
town.
flying this jet? He goes, I don't know. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to be in this cockpit for the next 30 years.
Uh-uh.
That just sounds miserable. So you pick a new goal and start running off at that goal. So I was saying earlier, once you have a goal, it's easy to grind because if you get a little raise at work instead of it just being an exciting thing for a week or two while you get your new paychecks and you're not used to that money, now it's a couple more dollars in the kitty pushing you closer to that goal, and you can now say, oh, instead of 5 years, it's only 4.5 because I got this raise, or uh, it just makes goal setting for me just makes life so much more enjoyable
Yeah, and
and
it doesn't
purposeful.
sound like some people will play devil's advocate on goal setting because they'll say, "Oh, it's just to make you uncomfortable." Like you're making a goal in order to make you uncomfortable with your current reality. You see where I'm
Uh,
going with that? Where people they say that goals create stress. Stress is bad for you.
I would agree with them up to the point where stress is bad for you.
Exactly,
I,
right? Because lazy people hate stress,
uh,
right? And stress, the body is built for stress. That's why we work out. Exercise is putting stress on the body,
yeah, exactly. And,
right?
and, and afterwards, you feel better, right?
Right. Because and when you need to sleep, you never sleep better unless you're tired, you know? If
Right.
if you go to bed when you're not tired, you don't sleep as well.
And it's just a lower state of a lower state of being.
Hmm.
So
Stress is extremely necessary.
yeah, it's an unpopular opinion, but remove the atrocities of war. Just with the idea of this is that as you grow up and you're transitioning into manhood, the idea of going off to war and doing this like extremely dangerous, stressful, like coming of age thing, people, not so much modern, but throughout history, people come back from that and they have now achieved manhood and they have now become this
It's
greater
yeah,
thing. And
it's understood.
and you get to, and I feel that way, and I now get to carry that honor with me for the rest of my life. And
Hmm.
it's like working out, or it's like doing something hard. Like it's like going to bed tired. You feel more whole as a person. Like
Right.
Theodore Roosevelt used to call it the strenuous life.
Yeah.
Where
To an extent, right?
sure,
Eating, right? To eat is um, eat a well-deserved meal, right? To go out work all day and eat good at night kind of concept, you know?
yeah,
Or work
exactly.
hard, play hard. You
Yeah,
know, they work well together,
yeah,
but they don't work well apart. If you work hard and don't play hard,
yeah.
or if you play hard and don't work hard, it doesn't work.
Yeah, both directions are terrible.
You have to do both,
Yeah.
right?
So setting long term goals to aim at, it feels so good
Yeah.
to arrive at them.
Wow.
It's just it's massive. There's massive satisfaction.
I've never done that in my life.
Pick
No,
something.
I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah. 25 years old. I'd like to buy a one-way ticket.
To where?
I don't know.
Who cares?
A one-way ticket. That means nothing is here for me. There's nothing here. You know, I'll go spend some time with my parents for a month, tell them I love them, and take off and see what happens, truly.
Yeah.
I'd like to afford myself the ability to do that.
If people aren't into travel, though, those same things can
Right?
happen. Set your goal of like, I want to have a camp out in the forest and I want to build it from scratch,
Yeah.
right? And that's like, now there's a reason for you to go to work because you
Right.
need to buy that chainsaw.
Right.
And so
And
now
that's
there's
what
a,
makes you happy. You get your
yeah,
chainsaw, you get out there, you
like,
start chopping up some wood, man,
yeah,
stacking it on top.
yeah,
Oh man, now you're getting somewhere and you got to build a doorway. Oh man, the
yeah,
doorway's next weekend. I can't wait to
yeah.
get out to the camp.
I ran out of money. I need to get some leather to make a leather strap for the door.
Yeah.
Right now there's a reason to show up at McDonald's and like do your shift because you need another $100.
Wow. Right.
Right? If you're just showing up at McDonald's to work your shift, like, why?
You're spending your time.
I mean, you could just
You know
go
what I mean?
live in your parents' basement and just eat ramen until you die.
Yeah.
And go out.
There's really, I mean, there's no more or less work getting done in the world, except cheeseburgers are being made for people.
Exactly.
Right.
Sure, fine, honorable work, whatever.
I
But
mean,
it's like,
seriously.
do something for you too. Like, don't just show up and just work till you die.
Give.
Find something to aim at. It doesn't have to be travel. It doesn't have to be building a camp in the way. Whatever your thing is, make it a big goal that seems impossible to aim at. Write it down. Make a plan. And if you fail at it, no big deal. It was fun trying.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you how many failed goals I've had.
Isn't
It's
that the
like
greatest too?
endless failed goals. But
Right.
it's just if
You
you,
probably can't remember them because you just move on.
yeah, it's
You
like
just move on to what's
it's
next.
like, well, that didn't work
Yeah.
out. Whatever.
Okay.
Next thing.
Right. And I love that. I don't know where the quote's from, but I heard it. Most people set their goals too low and hit them, and not enough set their goals too high and miss somewhere in between.
Yeah, I'd much rather miss a big goal than hit a small one.
Yeah.
It's
That's the idea.
it's the harder the thing is, the more satisfying it is. It's like playing sports, right? If you knew you're going to win every game, why
Would you
would you
even play?
why would you bother showing up? If you lose 80 of them and you win one, think of the feeling of winning that one.
Yeah, that's the underdog story
Yeah.
too. Why does everyone pull for the underdog?
You're right. It's exciting. It's fun. It's human.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's in our nature to want the extraordinary to come from the unexpected,
Yeah,
right? Like
for
the
sure.
unexpected
For sure.
suspect is gonna pull it off.
Yeah. So the boat is almost irrelevant. I happen to have it. I happen to be
Yeah.
doing this thing, but
Yeah.
it was a process of getting here, and now I'm wrapping this goal up. I need to sit through my
Yeah.
enjoyment of my labor.
And what amazes me about this too is that you have a family. And most people who would be willing to do this don't have families. You know?
Yeah.
Like at this point, if I'm gonna go buy a one-way ticket, I'm not gonna have kids between now and then. You know what I'm saying?
Your family, yeah. If you're truly a family and you and your wife really,
Yeah.
you and your husband really care for each other, and talk and express your feelings to each other, the goals become one.
Yeah.
You can. My wife and I have been together for. I should probably know this fact, but somewhere whatever. It's like 10 years or something like that. A little longer maybe.
Bro.
We've been going to therapy since we got married. So we're really good at talking to each other and telling each other what we really feel and how we
Yeah.
really think about things. And
Yeah.
it because of that, it's easy to do these weird things as a family.
Yeah. Is she on your level?
Oh yeah, yeah.
She's about it.
Oh, she's all about it.
She's all about it.
She's about it for different reasons though.
Oh. What do you mean?
Like she just likes the idea of the family being all together for a year or two,
Yeah.
right before the kids really get into that whole school thing, and you know, and you're forced to become part of society for a while. So at 5 and 2, we're right there. Like we only have a year or two before we need to give the kids some consistency and a set of friends to grow up with. So she's really all about this year or two together for us all to bond.
Yeah.
It could be a boat, it could be an RV, it could be a whatever to her.
Just being a part of their life.
Yeah, yeah.
Being a part of when their minds are still being formed.
Yeah.
And I mean, they are little versions of you and your wife.
Yeah.
Combined, right?
Yeah.
And if they get separated from that, they won't have that same connection with you when they grow up.
Sure, they'll be. If you took my kids right now, they'd be little versions of you 10 years from now.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So if you,
Right? It's Father's Day. Happy
oh
Father's
yeah, yeah,
Day,
yeah, yeah,
right?
it's Father's
That's
Day.
pretty cool. Thanks for coming to spend time and doing a podcast on Father's Day, Dad number one.
Yeah.
That's good. They'll hear this. That's funny. But yeah, I talked to my dad this morning, and I just noticed so many similarities.
Right. It's not because you're half his DNA. It's because he
Because
spent so much time with you.
we spent so much time
Yeah.
doing shit together. Mountain biking. I mountain bike consistently, avidly, right? Going out in the woods. I'm camping constantly, right? Building stuff. I built a gym, right? It's in your, it's nurture or nature.
Yeah.
Would you say it's more nurture or nature?
Oh, nurture for sure.
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
give me a kid from anywhere in the world, anywhere in the world.
yeah,
Give him to me for the next 20 years. He'll be a little version of me, or she'll be a little
yeah.
version of me. Give my kids to anybody else in the world, they'll be
Yeah.
a little version of them.
That's fascinating, and it happens even as adults or even younger adults.
Yeah.
Is they'll become who they look up to,
Yeah.
right? Even if it's not their parents, if they have a mentor or a coach, or they will adopt attributes, behaviors,
Yeah.
actions that their mentors, saw fit or did right
Exactly.
in their eyes.
The living in Los Angeles, I've been out there for about 20 years. The I grew up in Illinois, but being out there for so long, I arrived there as an adult, but I have a lot of attributes and a lot of values now, which are based in Los Angeles. I picked that up as an adult, just from you're surrounded by those people all the time, and you keep getting told the same thing over and over and over and over and over by everybody. You just start picking those little things up, and
Yeah.
I got really into classic cars and sports cars and muscle cars when I was out there because
It was the
that's
cool
what my
thing.
neighbors did.
Right.
That's what the guys in the neighborhood were doing. They're like, "What are you working on?" I'm like, I ride a bicycle."
Yeah. They're like,
They're
what?
Why? I'm
What?
like, I don't know. Makes me strong. Like, come check out my Camaro. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Right. 20 years later, I have I have a Mustang. I bought a Dodge Hellcat. I have all these like muscle cars because that's just
Did you sell your bike?
yeah. Well, I didn't sell it, but it definitely had two flat tires and was dusty.
Yeah. That's some shit.
So now I'm here in Marquette, right? And I've learned this idea that you change based on who you're around, and so
Yeah.
I've kind of tried to open myself up to the style of life here. I'm
Yeah.
sort of trying to absorb it as quickly as I can.
Is that hard in LA? It's such a melting pot, such a crazy like beehive of activity and different opinions and people and ideas and values.
You
It's
meet
like-
LA becomes small when you're there.
Really?
You meet your crowd, and
Yeah.
you kind of stick in your area of it. I mean, it takes like 6 hours to drive across the city. So, like, you live in LA, but really you live in whatever neighborhood of LA you live in.
Right. Right. Because you're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
You should have stuck to the bike, man. Traffic sounds stupid.
yeah. There's a couple guys biking out there. I lived out on the edge of town,
Yeah.
up in the mountains, and there's a lot of horses out there. So a lot of guys riding horses up in the hills, and
Right.
yeah, you're right next to the desert. So there's a lot of muscle cars going out to the desert to go race, and so that was sort of my thing when I was out there.
Dang. Yeah, you come a long way.
So now I'm here riding a bicycle around, and, trying to see what Marquette has to offer, trying to absorb that.
You drove here today.
Yeah, we got the grandparents are here, so we rented a
Oh,
car
perfect.
to help them around.
Yeah.
They're getting a little older, but
Yeah.
I return the car tomorrow. So back
Yeah.
to
No car.
bicycles, boats, and foot.
So you're taking your bike on the boat.
No, I don't have a bike. It's just gonna be
So you're
walking.
You're gonna be walking.
Yeah,
So you land.
We
You
got a
might
ro-
go
we-
into some harbors,
we got a rowboat.
right?
We'll row ourselves ashore.
So you'll be. That's how you'll do your grocery shopping?
Yeah, we thought about bringing a bike, but I've read about bikes on boats. And they're hard to store. And the seawater destroys them quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So initially, we're trying to have no systems, no stuff, and as we discover, like, oh,
This
man,
works.
we really need a wagon. We'll go find a wagon, or we really
Yeah.
need a bike, or we really need whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we're trying to.
But you'll be operating out of port cities
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. It's the boat itself is also it's a historically significant boat, so I think we're going to get a little bit of street cred rolling in places. It's a national historic landmark. It's the flagship of Marquette.
Dang.
So I think coming into cities, we'll get a little bit of help, get a little bit of maybe free dockage here and there.
Okay. Before we wrap this up, how are you gonna document all this?
I enjoy the idea of podcasting and video casting and all
Yeah.
that, but the act of actually doing it, I always find
Yeah.
tedious. That being said, I've been working on it. So I got a website. It's coaster2.org.
Shout out.
I got a Instagram page that's Schooner Coaster 2, and
Schooner Coaster 2 Instagram.
I've been trying to put stuff up on there, and my wife's good at yelling at me about it and
Yeah.
reminding me to post stuff up there.
So you'll actually have like updates, and
Yeah.
you'll be well. The cool thing about that, it's like a photo album, right?
Yeah.
For you and your kids and people who used to know you, your friends and stuff like that.
And then I've been keeping a journal. So I've never tried writing a book before, but I like the idea of it. Who knows if I'll actually do it or not? But I've been keeping a journal, and maybe,
And this is the first for you?
yeah.
Nice. That's huge.
It may last a week, may last the whole trip. Who knows?
Right.
I'm trying it out.
Right. Maybe
Everything-
that'll help you relax a little
Maybe,
bit.
yeah.
That'll be like one of your coping mechanisms
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
a moment at the end of the day to sort of
Close out.
close the day and collect my thoughts.
Cool, man. So, Peter, thanks for coming out and doing this, man. I seriously, I appreciate what you're doing.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to maybe see some of that from Instagram or maybe hear from you down the road. Maybe we'll do this when you finish your trip
Oh, that'd
and
be
we
cool.
could do a recap. But
Yeah.
thanks for coming on today, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Till next time, guys.
Yeah.
Ride the waves, dude.